Live from the tank on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet is proud to welcome you into coverage of College of Staten Island men's basketball and this senior night and the 2019-2020 season finale. Tonight's game features the Baruch College Bearcats coming in with a record of 15-9, taking on the CSI Dolphins coming in with a record of 9-15 and looking to get into the double-digit win column. Good evening, everybody. I'm David Pizzuto alongside Mike Babuski. And Mike, we were treated to a great women's contest, one-sided, won by the Dolphins. This will be a tough test for the CSI men. They fell to Baruch earlier this season. Baruch is the defending CUNY champions, a win against CSI in last year's tournament. So a lot of subplots on the line tonight. But most importantly, both of these teams want to finish their season on a positive note.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, Dave. The Dolphins had won 3 out of their last 4 games and went into the final seconds of their game against Hunter College with a 2-point lead, but a big 3-pointer right before the buzzer prompted Hunter College as they were able to escape with a 1-point win. So Dolphins looking to bounce back, Dave, and finish off the season with a big win against Baruch College. As you mentioned earlier, these two teams met in the CUNYAC Championship last year, and the Bearcats won in a close one. Dolphins looking to finish the regular season with a win here tonight.
Yeah, and for Baruch College, we know that they will figure into the CUNY Championship picture. They'll find a way in there somehow and find a way to make some noise. But they too, Mike, they had lost 3 games in a row against CUNY competition, but they've rebounded nicely. 3 wins in their last 3 games against York, Brooklyn, and Lehman. And tonight they have to go on the road again, where they are 6-4 this season, to play a CSI team, Mike, that has noticeably played better in this building.
Yeah, the Bearcats coming off of a big win against Lehman. It was a game that wasn't really that close, and the Bearcats were able to control that one. And, like you mentioned, Dave, the Dolphins have played very well here at the tank this year and, played a strong game, like we mentioned, against Hunter College in their last home game before dropping a tough one at the buzzer. And, the Dolphins want to finish with a winning record here at home.
Mike, the Dolphins were shorthanded in that game against Hunter that they recently dropped. Austin Mick out of the lineup, suffered an injury against Brooklyn College, hasn't played since. It puts more emphasis on one of the stars of the CUNY Conference and, of course, the CSI Dolphins for the last 3 seasons, Adeola Latunji. He's one of 3 seniors who will be spotlighted tonight. Christian Kopech, the other one, a 3-year senior, and their only 4-year senior, James Delahanty. There'll be big focus on those 3 seniors, but when teams want to stop the Dolphins, they have to start by stopping Adeola Latunji.
Yeah, Latunji's been the best offensive player for the Dolphins all year long, Dave. He's coming in averaging 21 points a game. He's shooting 48% from the floor, just 29% from the 3-point line. But, there's no doubt he's been the Dolphins' go-to player offensively. He's also averaging 7 rebounds a game. So, he's played very well. He's catapulted himself up the Dolphins' all-time scoring list throughout this 2019-2020 season. And like the rest of the Dolphins, looking to finish out strong in his final game as a Dolphins and as a Dolphin, Dave. And, the Dolphins will miss all their seniors, of course, but they're going to especially miss Adeola Latunji. He gives them so much. He has the ability to drive the ball to the basket and hit the outside shot, grab the rebound, and play defensively. So, a player that the Dolphins will have to find a way to replace going into next year.
Yeah, and we should mention as a programming note, when that clock hits 0, we will be throwing it live courtside to a ceremony that will honor CSI's 3 seniors. As Mike mentioned, Adeola Latunji, the premier star of that senior class, 1,440 points over the course of the last 3 seasons. That ranks up near the CSI's top scorers of all time. He eclipsed the 500-point mark in that game against Hunter College. He's the CUNY's leading scorer. So teams definitely have to game plan against him. But, Mike, it's been the emergence of some other scorers for the Dolphins. Down the home stretch of this season, Joe Ziris has really emerged as the Dolphins' number 2 guy when it comes to offense. And rather recently, Andrew Cartel has put up a 21-point effort in a game here at home, season high for him. followed up with a great performance on the road against Brooklyn. And then with Austin Mick out of the lineup in that game against Hunter, put up another quality campaign. He's got 11 points as an average this season, but really as of late, he's been turning it up.
Yeah, Dave, and he's done a nice job coming in off the bench, like you mentioned. He's come in and helped provide some instant offense to this Dolphin team. And, Andrew is one of those players that are going to be part of the Dolphins in the future. And, again, like the rest of this Dolphin team, really looking to finish off strong, Dave. They're 7-5 at home this year and really looking to finish the regular season with a home win.
Yeah, and Mike, their opponents tonight are Baruch College. We mentioned how strong Baruch is. They're the defending CUNY champions. They won on a buzzer beater against the Dolphins last season, and they held the Dolphins in check the last time these two teams played. Mike, it's hard to imagine. The Dolphins had a 1-point halftime lead when they visited Baruch earlier this season, and then the second half was all Baruch. They ended up winning by 19 points, and they held the Dolphins to just 55 points in the game and only 38% shooting. They're a team that wins with defense first, but they have a lot of different, wider range of options offensively as well. Yeah,
Dave, the Dolphins did struggle to score all game long in their first game against Baruch. They finished shooting just 38% from the field, but 31% shooting in the second half and just 1 of 11 from the three-point line. Allowed Baruch to pull ahead in the second half. And, Dave, you look at this CSI men's basketball team, and all season long it's been a struggle to find consistent scoring. They'll go through 5-6 minutes where they look really good. They're very effective offensively. They're scoring inside and out, but there have just been too many long periods of time where they've just really struggled to score offensively. And, and it's been at those points during the game that some teams have been able to take advantage of the Dolphins.
Yeah, and the Dolphins have been locked up in a lot of really close battles down the home stretch of the season. Really, the first half of the season, Mike, the Dolphins were either winning games by big amount of points or losing games by big amount of points. But down the home stretch of the season, especially the back half of the CUNY conference games, have really been close. It's made the Dolphins a little bit of a better team, Mike, in my opinion anyway. They've been playing games really tight down the stretch. They lose a heartbreaker to Hunter on this court the last time out. But really, Mike, their second time around the CUNY teams, they've really played a lot better than the first time around, and they're hoping to complete that again against a Baruch College team here tonight.
Yeah, for the Dolphins, Dave, this is their CUNYAC championship. This is their final game. This is, their last game. It's their chance to honor their 3 seniors that are graduating here tonight. But in addition to that, when you've mentioned it a couple of times here tonight, the Dolphins also want to leave the conference, on a winning note, and a win here tonight against the defending CUNYAC champions. That would make the Dolphins 8-5 at home and get them up to 10 wins this year is really a big thing, Dave. And, you got to go back. I think it's like the 2009-2010 season since the last time they were below 500 for the season. And obviously the Dolphins will finish below 500 this year. But, they knew they had challenges coming into the season, Dave. Christian Taylor not available, Jamal Martin not available. And, you thought the Dolphins would struggle a little bit throughout the season. But, once again, they've been able to play very well and play well in spurts and looking to finish out the season strong, especially here at the Tank.
Yeah, and really with the exception of John Jay College, the Dolphins have beaten every single CUNY team this season, with the exception of Baruch College, where they lost to them earlier this season and are looking, of course, to avenge that loss. Mike, before we throw it to break and have a segment where Joe Foreman of CSI interviewed head coach T.J. Tibbs, let's take another quick look at Baruch this season. They're being led in the point column by Adnan Bajaramni, 15.8 points per game. But, Mike, after that, you have 7 Baruch College Bearcats that are all averaging 5 points and over, between 5 and 8 points per game. So they really beat you up and down the lineup. There's no one true star of this team. There's really no one true person that you kind of circle in the box score saying we must stop this person to win. There's a lot of different options for head coach Alisi to turn to on any given night.
Yeah, this is something that Baruch has traditionally done. They like to play a lot of players. They've been getting good production up and down the lineup, Dave, as you mentioned. It's a team that's shooting 44% from the field, 34% from the three-point line, averaging 71 points a game. They've out-rebounded their opponents by just about 2.5. They really don't blow you away in the statistical category, Dave, but like you mentioned, they've won 3 in a row. They've won 6 out of their last 9 after a 3-game losing streak. 2 of those 3 games, Dave, they lost by a single possession. So it's a Baruch team that's playing well, and just like the Dolphins are trying to finish out the season strong, the Bearcats, who have serious playoff aspirations here this year, defending their CUNYAC championship, are also looking to get a big win here tonight.
Right, so this game, again, does not count towards the CUNY standings, but certainly a lot of pride on the line for the CSI Dolphins. The CSI women, a little earlier tonight, if you joined us late, they cut down the nets here at the CSI Sports and Recreation Center, putting the finishing touches on their first full season as a Division II member. Mike, the Dolphins have had a few more downs than ups. They're 9-15 this season. Obviously, a win brings them to double digits. That's a nice milestone for this team. But overall, year one of provisional Division II membership, what are some things that the Dolphins can really hang their hat on this season?
Well, one of the things that head coach T.J. Tibbs did, and he's talked about it a couple of times, was going down to Florida, playing Nova Southeastern, playing Barry University, really looking to see how the team stacked up against the top teams in the country. And, again, it's a question of getting the team good experience, and even sometimes when you have to take a little bit of a beating to see what you need to do, the Dolphins willing to do that. And, one thing about head coach T.J. Tibbs is, he's always looking to schedule the best teams, and, that's something that's going to bode very well for the Dolphins down the line.
For sure, and the Dolphins, of course, have a very rich rivalry with this Baruch College team, so certainly throughout the night we'll be talking about some of the recent memories. Of course, the biggest one coming last year in that CUNY final. Mike, I know I was courtside watching, and I know all the CSI fans who watched the game were disheartened by the end, but really what it was a great 40-minute show. Back and forth. You mentioned Christian Taylor's huge three-pointer at the end, Baruch running a football play to win the game at the end. Ultimately, it was Boateng that got that winning basket right from about the free throw line. You got to give credit to Baruch. They made the shot when it counted, but I think when you step out of the CSI shell, at least for us, it's just a really good game and a lot of fun to watch when these two teams play.
Yeah, Dave, you go back, especially over the last 10 years or so, and all of the great CUNYAC conference games that this men's basketball team has played, the NCAA appearances, the Sweet 16 appearance back in 2011, 2012, just a whole lot of great memories that we'll probably have a chance to talk a little bit about as we go through the game here tonight.
All right, so you see it on your screen. We got about 3 minutes to go before the introduction of the starters, the senior day presentations. What we will do is we will step aside for a special segment of the Walk With. CSI's Joe Foreman met up with T.J. Tibbs to discuss tonight's game. It was a pretty fun watch, too. I'm sure our viewers will have a lot of fun with this one. So let's step aside, get some thoughts from T.J. Tibbs, and when we come back, our senior day presentations courtside, live from the tank. It's CSI versus Baruch coming up next.
Joe Foreman for CSIDolphins.com, and this is the season finale of the Walk With today. I am joined by CSI men's basketball head coach T.J. Tibbs. And TJ, your team's last game against Hunter College, won on a buzzer beater by the Hawks. What happened on that final play of the game?
I mean, you got to give a lot of credit to Hunter. It was a scramble situation. George Keener is one of the best players of the league. I thought he had every right to take a tough shot for two that we had pretty much covered. But he made a phenomenal basketball play and kicked it out to somebody he's been playing with since he was in high school. And, you got to give credit to Melvin Collins. He hit a tough shot. And sometimes it's just what happens in basketball. So I'm very happy with how we covered it. And we just didn't make the last play at the end.
Baruch, a team that defeated the Dolphins earlier this season. What are you looking to adjust from that game? And how do you look to pick up a win against a team that you once coached for?
Well, hopefully because it's senior night, we're going to play with a lot of energy and a lot of emotion for the seniors. And, we just have to do a better job of guarding their shooters and, playing with intensity. It's a rivalry game. It's a game that Baruch and CSI is always a big game. So it's kind of storybook that is going to end this year with playing the game against Baruch.
Well, some of your seniors providing us company over our shoulders right now, but TJ, your 3 seniors, James Delahanty, Christian Kopak, Adeola Latunji, what have they meant to the program, and how do you look to send them off the right way tonight?
They mean everything to the program. James Delahanty especially, he's a 4-year player, and here at CSI, that's a very sacred thing. This is a group that has won a championship, has lost in a championship game. James has went to the 3 championship games all the times he's been eligible. They're the heartbeat of our program. They will continue to be a huge part of our program, and I know that the guys are going to play extremely hard for them. It's going to be a really emotional night, but it's something that they deserve, everything that they have coming for them, and I can't wait to honor them in the best way.
All right, TJ, thanks for joining us. This has been the season finale of The Walk with men's basketball head coach TJ Tibbs. You can catch the Dolphins take on the Baruch College Bearcats tonight on CSI Sportsnet.
Welcome back here. We are just moments away from the start of CSI versus Baruch, the regular season finale for both teams, and for the Dolphins, their season finale. It is also senior night here at the College of Staten Island. The Dolphins will be honoring their 3 seniors, Christian Kopak, Adeola Latunji, and James Delahanty. We're going to throw it courtside to our public address announcer, Joe Foreman, with the ceremony here to honor our seniors. When we come back, we'll have the starters, and we'll get you ready for tip-off. Throw it courtside now to Joe Foreman.
Game 2 features the men of Baruch College taking on your CSI Dolphins. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, tonight is senior night at CSI. We would like to take first a brief moment to honor our 3 seniors ahead of tonight's tip-off. They will be making their appearance in a final home game for the Dolphins against Baruch here tonight. We have the area in front of the CSI bench, head coach TJ Tibbs, and assistants J.C. Alvaro, Nick Durant, Ord McKay Jr., and Kurt Massey, joined alongside CSI athletic director Charles Gomes. They get set to honor their seniors. Our first senior tonight is someone who has spent the last 3 seasons with the Dolphins and has played an instrumental role as a contributor, most times one of the first players off of the bench during critical stretches in play. This is evidenced by his 62 games played, boasting a total of 10 starts over that stretch as well. A dynamic inside-outside player, his dangerous outside shot, as well as his ability to penetrate the lane for transition baskets, has provided incredibly important scoring for the team. More than his offensive numbers, his defensive presence and physical play is often very relied upon by his coaches. This season in particular, he is boasting career highs in minutes, points, rebounds, assists, and steals. Maybe even more impressive by the fact that he had to weather through an early season injury that knocked him out of 6 complete games. His ability to come back from that setback and show the ability in practice when he has been called upon in games has been critical during his time at CSI. Although we are sorry to see him go, we are excited to honor him tonight. With that said, please welcome our first senior, number 14, Christian. KO! Christian is being presented with a commemorative frame courtesy of CSI Athletics and gifts from his coaches and teammates. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, let's hear it for Christian Kopak. Our second senior, like Christian, was a 3-year standout with the Dolphins, one who has left an indelible mark on the program with Hall of Fame numbers left in the wake. One of the QNAC's and nation's most dynamic players, he is closing out his career with almost 1,500 career points and 600 rebounds. With 80 games under his belt, all as a starter, he has boosted over 32 minutes per game with a career 18 points per game and 2 QNAC All-Star citations under his belt. He is saving one of his finest seasons for last this year as as he became only the 18th player ever to eclipse 500 points in a single season. Lost behind only a couple of offensive numbers on his 69 career blocks, 119 career steals, and 118 career assists. Making him just as valuable as a distributor and a defensive presence on the other side of the floor. It is hard to imagine the records he would have set if those numbers were projected over a fourth competitive season. Still, the impressive mark he has left the program will be difficult, if not impossible, to duplicate. Every game holds the promise of a highlight reel performance that is so hard to find for any NCAA program, and his presence will be difficult to replace. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome senior number 2, Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time for Adiola Latunji. Our third and final senior is our lone 4-year senior, and one who has been a focal point of our program over that stretch. Over that last 4-year period, his presence in the CSI front court has grown bigger and bigger, and this year alone he has posted career highs in starts, minutes, points, rebounds, assists, and steals, literally doubling up on many of these numbers. Over 66 career games and 23 starts. More than the numbers of the box score, it is his presence that is really what is called upon for the team. In game-state practice, he is a lead-by-example player who has always adopted a team-first philosophy and always plays at 100%, whether tasked to play 30 minutes or the most important 1 minute of the game. His unwavering support of his teammates, evidenced on the practice court and his spells on the sidelines, is what the coaches rely on him the most for, and it will be this piece of the equation that will be tough to overcome with this loss. His positive approach to the team, sense of humor, and business-like approach to the task at hand will certainly be something we will all come to miss. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's hear it for our final James Delahanty.
Well, Mike, the 3 CSI seniors, of course, receiving a lot of attention from their teammates and, of course, their families on the court, Mike, as we saw a lot with the women's game as well. It is a family affair here at CSI. We adopt the parents and the significant others of our players. You notice Tom Delahanty, a former 4-year standout here, with the Dolphins. It's just such a great moment for these kids who've worked so hard all year long. Through a season of ups and downs. You look at that young man, Delahanty, Mike, 3 CUNY championship appearances, 2 wins, and a tough loss in last year's, but all the kid knows is championship caliber basketball, and that starts in the classroom, it starts on the practice floor, and of course right here on the tank here, their home court.
Yeah, Dave, this CSI Dolphins team has been so successful over the years, and I know that this year they're coming in tonight's game with just a record of 9-15 on the year, Dave. But you go back over the last 10 years, and this Dolphin team has had so much success, championships, NCAA appearances, a Sweet 16 appearance, just lots of success for this CSI men's basketball team, Dave.
So for the Bearcats, we have number 1, Sean Dunlellen as a starter, but maybe Mohammed Guy is wearing number 1. We're not really quite sure of that one. Number 11 is Adnan Bajaramni. Number 14, Michael Richards. Number 21, Emil Perisic. And number 22, George Smith Jr. Those are your starters for the Baruch College Bearcats. For the CSI Dolphins, they will put their 3 seniors in the starting lineup. Number 2, Adiola Latunji, the CUNY's leading scorer. Rigo Destime and Andrew Cartalis join him in the backcourt. And then, of course, getting the start is forward Christian Kopeck. And the man in the middle is number 42, James Delahanty.
Yeah, Dave. So all three senior Dolphins in the starting lineups here today. A rematch of last year's CUNYAC championship game between the College of Staten Island and Baruch. The three seniors on it, Dave, and like we said during the women's game, it's hard to believe, Dave, how quickly the 4 years go by. James Delahanty, a 4-year player on this team, like you mentioned, Dave, 2 CUNYAC championships, a last-second loss in the finals last year. What a career for these players, and so much success for this CSI men's basketball team, and the program being left in great hands as the team moves into a full-fledged D2 schedule next year.
Yeah, even you look at players like Christian Kopeck and James Delahanty, Mike, their numbers are not going to pop off the page at you, but every team needs glue. Every team needs oil within the gears. You got your gears. Your gears are Adiola Latunji, but you need the grease that gets them moving, and that's where players like Delahanty and Kopeck come in, and the other ones that are on the floor as well, Andrew Cartalis, Rigo Destime. You talk about leaving the program in good hands. These are the kids that are going to be leaders next year when the team adopts a full Division II schedule. A lot riding on the shoulders of those young men, and the Dolphins looking to get into the double-digit win column. For Baruch, they've overcome 3 consecutive losses with 3 straight wins. They want to take it into the postseason with their 4th straight to end 2019-2020. So Baruch is in their road light blue uniforms. They go from left to right on your screen. Dolphins in their home whites. And they will have the first possession of the game. It'll be Rigo Destime. He gets it back, dribbles to his left, and giving it up to Delahanty for 3. No good. He short-rimmed it, and the rebound goes to Smith.
Boy, the crowd was looking to erupt, Dave, if he could have hit that three-pointer.
Dunlennon with the first control for Baruch. They give it up quickly to Richards. Richards working in front of the CSI bench to Purisic. They leave Smith open at the top of the arc. Now the give back at the top of the three-point arc, and the 3 is good by Badger Romney.
Badger Romney coming in, shooting 41% from the three-point line. That's a great number, Dave.
Absolutely, and Baruch obviously counts on him. Leading scorer by a pretty good long shot. He's got the first 3 of the game. Dolphins want to reset offensively. Destime receives a screen, drives the paint. Short jumper is good.
Nice shot that time by Destime. Well contested by the Bearcats.
Dunlennon will have the controls. This is Smith. Back over to Badger Romney. They work it around. Smith again given plenty of space near the arc. The offense will dare him to shoot from there. Now on the baseline, skip pass, over to Smith for 3, missed it, hit the side of the rim. It was collected by Kopeck, and now this is Cartalis the other way for 3, no good. Dolphins misthrowing on their first 2 threes of the game, and Baruch still up by 1 and possession. Dunlennon gives it over to Smith. Smith was looking inside, opts over to Dunlennon anyway. He gets into the paint, short layup, no good, and the rebound is collected by Richards. Skip pass in the corner to Badger Romney, and he connects for 3, his second of the game, and he lets the crowd know it.
Yeah, he's 2 of 2, Dave, from the three-point line, and gives Baruch an early 6-2 lead.
Destime up top to Latunji. Latunji a long two-pointer, no good. Offensive rebound, won by Delahanty. He skipped it over to Kopeck, and Kopeck gets in the layup.
Beautiful play that time by Delahanty to keep it alive. Christian gets his first basket.
Rigo Destime almost had a steal, and Baruch able to break, and Smith able to hit the easy lay-in, and the Dolphins are going to call a quick 30-second timeout. So with 17:34 left, the Bearcats with an 8-4 lead. Mike, the Dolphins early on victimized by 2 3-pointers and an open look layup.
Yeah, I think that head coach T.J. Tibbs didn't like that open layup, Dave. That time, Dolphins, to be fair, came pretty close to a steal and kind of were looking to go the other way. Instead, Baruch able to maintain possession, feed it inside for the layup. And, just like the women's team started out poorly in the first few quarters, for the Bearcats. The Med coming out strong here this afternoon. 3 of 5 from the field, 2 of 3 from the three-point line to grab an early 8-4 lead.
So after head coach T.J. Tibbs talks it over for a few seconds, the Dolphins will recollect offensively. This was a very low-scoring first half between these two teams when they first met earlier this season at Baruch. And Alio Latunji crossover dribble, long range two, no good. And a long rebound won by Kopech. He was interfered with and taken away by Smith. Smith gives it up to Dunlennon. He finds in the middle. The layup is good, skipped in by Perisic. And the Bearcats extend to a 6-point lead. Desteem gets fronted at the free throw line, gives it over to Kopech. Kopech to Delahanty. Dolphins kept at the perimeter, nothing doing on the inside. Kopech left open, now to Latunji. Latunji has his pocket picked, but last touched by Smith and out of bounds, so with 10 to shoot, Dolphins will still have possession.
Yeah, Adiola's missed his first couple of shots of the night, Dave. That ball knocked away, but the Dolphins will maintain possession.
Crowd itching to get into it, but they haven't been able to yet. Desteem receives a screen from Delahanty. Offensive foul on Rigo Desteem.
Yeah, so the Dolphins struggling a little bit here, Dave. That'll be their second turnover on the offensive foul, just 2 of 6 from the field, and Baruch with an early 6-point lead. Dolphins need a good defensive stand.
Dolphins employing sort of a soft press here, but Dunlennon able to gain the timeline easily. He gives it up to Perisic. Smith, once again, left open from the arc. Bounce pass on the baseline. Bajaromny, another skip pass, and now a three-point attempt from long distance is connected on by Emil Perisic.
Yeah, Baruch continuing their hot shooting day. 5 of 7 from the field, 3 of 4 from the three-point line.
And another turnover for CSI the other way. Kopech's pass was intercepted, and here comes Baruch the other way. Driving into the paint, kicking it out to Richards. He thought about a three. Instead, gives it over to Bajaromny, and he connects a three-pointer for Adnan Bajaromny. And he's up to 9 points.
Sorry, Dave. Baruch now in the middle of a 13-2 run. They have their biggest lead of the game.
Dolphins getting set to bring in Joe Ziris coming in from off the bench. Dolphins down in a hole early by 12. Inside pass, broken up, but recollected by Desteem. Short jumper, no good, air ball. Delahanty in three-point range to Kopech. Kopech skips in, off the glass, no good. Rebound collected by Baruch, and they want to run. Richards the other way, in, off the glass, and in.
Yeah, Dolphins off to a real slow start, Dave. They're not really getting good looks offensively, and on that last sequence, the Bearcats able to take the ball right to the basket. Very little resistance.
Oh, and that pass mishandled by Delahanty off the bounce pass by Kopech. We're going to have immediate timeout. Both teams will get substitutions in, but we've reached the first break in the action, and it's been all Baruch, 18-4 here in the early going. Stay with us. More CSI men's basketball coming up next.
Now Taylor looks to drive, and a beautiful bounce pass finished on the slam by Adiola Latunji. What a feed by Christian Taylor.
It was such a beautiful play, and Christian saw it, came open, put in the perfect bounce pass, and the Dolphins have their biggest lead.
Jumper no good, and Christian Taylor gets the rebound. We're under 2 minutes to play. Touchdown pass, Cartel, drop off to Latunji. Nice bit of ball movement by the Dolphins. The first pass from Taylor to Cartalis, and then Cartalis to Latunji.
Every highlight reel finish, every home game, all season long, catch all of the live action on CSI Sportsnet.
We're back here, live action. The CSI Dolphins find themselves in an early 14-point hole after 4 minutes and 46 seconds.
Yeah, Dave, Baruch's in the middle of a 15-2 run right now. Dolphins really not looking that sharp offensively. They've already turned the ball over 4 times, shooting just 2 of 8 for the field. And unfortunately for the Dolphins, Baruch has come out red hot, 7 of 9 from the field, 4 of 5 from the three-point line.
The Dolphins have replaced Kopech with Joe Ziris. And it looks like Jack Reese has entered for Baruch. As Mike said, Baruch will do a lot of substituting in games. They've got 10 players who average 10-plus minutes per game. Richards skips it around to Reese. Reese finds an open Smith. That's a mid-range two-pointer, and Smith buries it, and the Bearcats open up their biggest lead.
Yeah, and just like the women started off strong for the Dolphins against the Bearcats, the men of Baruch have come out red hot here tonight.
And this is Ziris now a long-range two. That's good for Joe Ziris, his first touch of the evening.
Dolphins needed that. That breaks a 17-2 Bearcat run.
And Dolphins still down by 14, so they need some defensive stops. This is Smith left open again on the arc. Dolphins just daring him to shoot, not even defending him from that range. And now stepping back for a three is Badgeromny, but he misses his first shot of the evening. Destine to Cartalis. Back to Destine. Ziris now top of the arc. Dolphins continue to work the perimeter. This is Destine looking to skip inside. Has his pocket picked by Richards. Here comes Richards the other way. And he takes the open layup. And a foul whistled on Latunji, who looked like he held up on the play, Mike, but might have caught the back heel of Richards.
Yeah, it looked like he might have, Dave. It looked like he might have made a little contact, and the official called the foul on Adiola. That's going to be his first personal, the team's second. So that's going to send Richards to the line to shoot two.
Richards only a 61% free throw shooter. Baruch as a team shoots the ball pretty well from the line, almost 67%, as they will bring in Jameel Fair into the game. He replaced Badgeromny. Second free throw is good. Bearcats up by 15. Christian Velasquez has checked in for the Dolphins. The bounce inside to Ziris. Ziris being fronted by Perisic. Looking for some options, finds Latunji down near the baseline, skips into the paint, and his shot is off, so he's 0 for 3 from the floor. This is Reese now. Backs it up to Perisic. Giving it over to Fair, and now they work it around to Smith Jr. Top of the arc. This is Richard, skips inside. Nice move against Latunji.
Yeah, he was able to get the ball right to the basket and lay it in as the Bearcats open up a 17-point lead.
All Baruch here, first 7 minutes of this one. Ziris skipping inside, and he draws contact against Perisic. And he will go to the free throw line. Ziris has been getting to the free throw line more and more this season. He's a 60.6% free throw shooter. He's had some difficulties from here. Left-handed shot. First one is up and good.
Yeah, Ziris has had a good season here for the Dolphins, Dave, as he's coming into tonight's game averaging 11 points a game and just over 5 rebounds for the Dolphins. And, you know, one of the few players with some size for the Dolphins.
And as we mentioned, size, Baruch brings in 6'7" Nathaniel Ormond into the game, sophomore. And we have another substitution as Destine quickly checks in to replace Delahanty. Dolphins go a little smaller here, and they are going to press. And coming up with it, Dolphins are able to touch, and a quick whistle here as Baruch finally ends up with it after it was all said and done. Timeout? No, Latunji with the foul, yeah.
Yeah, instead they're going to call a foul on Latunji as he's going to pick up his second in the scramble, and Adiola off to a slow start here tonight, Dave. Already with 2 personals will stay in the game.
Dolphins looking to press, but breaking it nicely was Dunlennon. Gives it over to Reese. Reese looking for some space. Finally sheds Destine, and getting to it is Fair. Now Dunlennon, back top of the arc, left open. That's a long 2-pointer and a long rebound off the miss by Perisic. Now inside, and the layup no good, but a foul whistled. Will put Baruch back on the line.
Yeah, the Dolphins just not moving to the ball, Dave. That one was a long rebound that came out. And, you know, of course, it's a tough break when you get that long rebound. But really, there were two Bearcats standing by the basketball and no Dolphin anywhere near it. And now they'll go to the free throw line once again.
Dunlennon's first is good. He gets his first points of the evening. He's already scored 2 rebounds and an assist.
He's an 82% free throw shooter, Dave, coming into the game tonight.
Brian Gomez checks in to replace Andrew Cartalis, who's had a quiet first 7+ minutes. And the second is good. So the Bearcats equal their biggest lead, 17 points. 25-8. Latunji, skip pass inside to Ziris, and Ziris goes up strong for the layup.
Yeah, the last couple of possessions today, the Dolphins have done a good job getting the ball inside to Ziris. That time he gets the basket.
And again, able to break the press pretty easily was Baruch. And now across court to Fair, backing it up, Baruch. Perisic. Reese up top, wide open three-pointer, no good. The rebound won by the Dolphins. Gomez extends for that one. His first statistic of the game. This is Destine driving and draws the foul against Fair.
Wow, so Fair will get called for the foul on the outside. That was a nice move by Rigo as he had that crossover dribble to break his way inside, but the Bearcats will pick up their second foul as Fair picks up his first.
Bajaranmi will come in for Baruch, their leading scorer. Hit his first three shots, all three-pointers. Gomez has it. Gives it over to Velasquez. Velasquez will have a go from three. No good. And the long rebound won by Baruch. Bajaranmi had the rebound. Dunlennon, and he passed it to Ormond, who was already out of bounds. So with under 12 minutes to play in the first half, we will step aside. Another media timeout. The Bearcats lead by 15. It's 25-10. More CSI basketball coming up after this. Mike, something to consider, too, is that John Jay only has one timeout left.
Latunji feeding the ball back up to Destine. His open three-pointer is good!
Now the Dolphins have complete control. John Jay's just used their final timeout, Mike.
Dave, what a big game for Rigo Destine here tonight for the Dolphins. Rigo now 6 of 11 from the field, including 5 of 9 from the three-point line.
Every big shot, every home game, all season long. Catch all of the action live at CSI Sportsnet.
We are back here, Baruch College hanging steady with a 15-point lead almost midway through the first half. Mike, when these two teams played earlier in the season, the Dolphins actually took a 1-point lead into the locker room before Baruch just exploded, outscored the Dolphins by 20 in the second half to end up winning by 19. And looks like they've picked up this first half the way they ended that second half at Baruch.
Yeah, you know, the Bearcats have done a nice job. They've come out. They've hit 9 out of their first 14 shots, including 4 of 7 from the three-point line. And, you know, it's been a first 9 minutes or so, or a little over 8 minutes, Dave, where Dolphins have seemed like a half step slow to the ball, and the Bearcats have been able to take advantage of that here so far in the first half.
You talked about Baruch having so much balance as well, and that's something that's been evidenced here in the first 9 minutes. Velasquez penetrates inside and is able to get a short baby jumper right in front of the net. And Dolphins cut the lead to 13. Baruch's biggest has been 17.
Yeah, Velasquez showing much more offensive variety in his game here this year.
Smith Jr.'s errant pass goes out of bounds, and for Baruch, that's their second turnover of the game. They've had a pretty clean sheet here up until that point. And now Staten Island with a chance to cut into this lead a little further. Richards getting set to check back in for Baruch. Velasquez penetrates, drops off inside, but his pass was deflected and stolen. Reese checks in. Thinking about a three was Dunlennon. He opts out, gives it over to Bajramani instead, and his open three is no good. Gomez kicks it back out to Destine. Destine swivels in the paint. That shot was blocked by by Fair, and collected by Smith. In the corner now, this is Fair. Opts it back out to Reese. Baruch plays it very quickly. Dunlennon able to shed Gomez. Foul on Dunlennon.
Nice play by Ziris that time, Dave, drawing the offensive foul and the turnover. So the Bearcats with a couple of turnovers on their last couple of possessions as Rigo Destine will check out of the game for the Dolphins as Delahanty and Cartalis check back in.
Dolphins have yet to get Adeola Latunji going. He's 0 for 3 from the floor, hasn't scored yet. He wants the ball from Velasquez. He won't get it. Instead, the Dolphins give it to Kartalis. Latunji spots up, open three, no good, and Smith gets the rebound. Reese backs it up to Smith Jr. This is Fair now. Fair looking inside, opts instead to go out to Smith. Smith left unguarded. Gives it over to Reese, 15 on the shot clock. Reese being fronted by Velasquez. Dribbles to his right. Badger Romney checking in, gaining the paint. Wants contact, finds Smith, and the jumper from the elbow is good.
Smith is now 3 of 4 for 6 points, and the Bearcat lead back to 15.
And his only miss was that wide open three that the Dolphins gave him. Ziris now looking to bang inside. Dribbles, turnaround jumper in the lane, no good off the back iron. Long rebound won by Fair. Here comes Reese the other way. Dolphins back off the press. They give us to Richards, back to Reese. Smith to Fair. Badge Romney's in the corner. They give it up top instead to Reese. Smith left open again, just inside the arc. This is Fair. Fair. And backing up, hits the jumper.
Yeah, that was a tough shot that time by Fair as he gets his first basket. Bearcat lead back to 17.
This has been their biggest lead. They've had it now. This is the third time. 17 points. Ziris spots up to Latunji. His jumper is off. And the win by Smith. Latunji has started cold here in this one. 0 for 5 from the floor. Almost intercepted. Badge Romney has it back. He's been deadly. Hit on his first 3 shots. Reese lost it to Kartalis. And here comes CSI the other way. 4-on-3 developing. Kartalis gains the paint, drops off in the lane, gets the friendly rim.
Yeah, Dolphins needed that basket there, Dave, as they're trying to work their way back into the game after falling behind early.
And the Dolphins on to employ the press. And once again, losing the coverage is Reese. Gives it over to Richards. Richards skips in the lane off the glass and in.
Baruch now 10 of 16 from the field, Dave.
And Baruch is doing a fantastic job breaking the CSI press. Velasquez looking inside. Delahanty, great pass, and Delahanty able to convert. Velasquez put it into open space, and Delahanty was able to catch up to it.
Delahanty's first basket of the game, Dave, correcting those Baruch numbers. 12 of 18, 67% so far in the first half. And now the Bearcats will turn it over with a travel.
And that's the second time that Jameel Fair has tripped. We are inside of 8 minutes. Another media timeout. We will step aside, take a break. Baruch with a 15-point lead. 31-16, 7:33 left first half. Stay with us. More CSI basketball coming up.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
We are back here. The Dolphins have 7 minutes and change to try and cut into this sizable Baruch lead. They've led by as many as 17 3 times in this one. Dolphins have been able to cut it down since then. We have the scoreboard that just went out here at CSI, but now it's back. So crisis averted.
Yeah, Dave, and the Dolphins have gotten off to a little bit of a slow shooting start, but their biggest problem is finding a way to defend Baruch. Baruch has made a couple of tough shots, but they've had some open looks as well.
Shot clock's not moving
and
here,
Mike.
Mike.
A 15-point lead. Still not going, Dave.
Yeah, now it is. We got their attention. Velasquez Inside give to Latunji. He drops off to Delahanty. A reverse layup is good.
Nice reverse layup that time by James. His second basket, he has 4.
Dolphins wanting to work on the interior. We'll ask TJ about that at halftime. How the Dolphins figure to get back into this game. Dolphins looking to play some big defense. This is Smith. Bounce pass inside. Nice job for Richards. He armbarred Velasquez. Got away with an offensive foul. Instead, getting to it is Lennon. He gives it over to Smith. Now to Richards. Richards penetrates on the interior. Nice job by Richards.
Yeah, the Dolphins made a good defensive play on the initial shot, Dave, as you see that Delahanty reverse layup, but they couldn't grab the rebound, and the Bearcats made him pay.
Second chance point, 7-2 in favor of Baruch. Ziris inside. Got pressure there from Puricek. And now Dunlennon for 3. That's no good. Just missed it off the front iron. This will be CSI basketball with 6:11 to go.
Yeah, the Dolphins fell behind in this game early, Dave, falling behind by 16, 20-4, trying to work their way back.
Cartalis given some space. Dropping it inside was Ziris, and it'll be CSI ball as Delahanty's pass was broken up. Rigo Destine will replace Velasquez.
Yeah, that was a tough pass on the inside. Dolphins fortunate the Bearcats touched it last, so the Dolphins maintain possession.
Cartalis now, spot jumper, no good. Long rebound, he wins it back. Floating jumper, no good. And the long rebound won by Richards. Richards now, hyper speed, cross court. Top of the arc to Smith. Smith looking for options, finds Richards instead. On the perimeter, he looks inside, opts out to Smith. Inside, pass was deflected and intercepted by Latunji. Latunji, stutter steps, drops over to Destine. Up top to Latunji. Open three-pointer, that's an air ball. He missed everything. And Latunji's woes continue. He's 0 for 6.
Yeah, he's having a tough day here on Senior Day today, Dave, for the Dolphins as the Bearcats inbound.
Bearcats doing well against the CSI press. And now the Dolphins back up just a little bit. Dunlennon against Destine. Destine gets some help and gets it over to Smith. Nice job by Smith to find Richards.
Yeah, that time the Bearcats able to work the ball inside for the easy layup.
For the 4th time in the game, the Bearcats are up by 17. Their biggest lead. Latunji stopping his dribble, skips it over. It ends up into the hands of Cartalis. Short jumper, no good. As that rattles around and it's into the hands of Baruch. Dunlennon stuck on 2 points. Smith, the handoff to Richards. Intercepted by Destine. Here comes Destine the other way. Coast to coast the other way, and Destine stops the run.
Yeah, that was a big turnover there for the Dolphins, Dave, as Rigo able to lay it up and in. His second basket, he has 4.
Oh, good break there that time. Here comes a 2-on-1 developing. Badramny backs it up. Dunlennon, open look, three-pointer, that's good.
Yeah, just no balance, Dave, for the Dolphins. They kind of rushed back to get inside and then allowed the wide open 3.
And a frustrated Dolphins bench is a 30-second timeout called by the Dolphins. It will extend to a full timeout. This will be the media timeout inside of 4 minutes. So with 4:21 to go, Baruch College with an 18-point lead. Stay with us. More NCAA basketball coming up next.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island. Be sure to check out the Kettle Black's monthly calendar.
We are back here, the CSI Dolphins trying to figure out a way to cut into this Baruch College lead. Right now, their deficit is 18 points. It's the biggest of the game. And, Mike, if the Dolphins don't get this lead down, they're going to be facing an enormous task in the second half.
Yeah, Dolphins struggling offensively. Adiola Latunji hasn't hit a shot yet as they are able to grab the rebound as Ziris able to lay it up and in. And, they're also allowing the Bearcats to shoot 65% from the field.
And this is where the Bearcats have really excelled. It's breaking the Dolphins' press. They've really had a real easy time breaking it and then converting for easy baskets the other way. Dolphins have had success on the interior. It's just a matter of trying to find open space. Now the give inside, skipped off of the defender, and a foul will be whistled against Perasek. As another turnover here for Baruch, as they're now up to 8 turnovers in this one. Dolphins are a +2 in that column, and they turn it over the other way. Here comes Baruch, 3-on-1 the other way. Perasek off the glass and in.
Yeah, so the Dolphins force a turnover day, but they can't take advantage of it as they turn the ball right back over for the easy basket.
And the scoreboard hasn't updated here at CSI, so the Bearcats are still at 38. I don't know if anybody's going to notice that, but Baruch has 40 points. Meanwhile, the give inside, broken up by Cartalis. Here comes CSI the other way. Andrew Cartalis, coast to coast. He's fouled, and the basket will count.
Yeah, that was a nice job that time by Cartalis. He waited for Donnellan to come back in and make contact before laying it up and in. And Dolphins trying to inch their way back into the game, Dave, in the final 3 minutes and 12 seconds.
And the Dolphins have had some shooting woes this season. They're only at 36%. Baruch, meanwhile, 66.7%. They've made 2/3 of their shots, 16 of 24. Cartalis with a chance here to finish a three-point play. Missed it wildly. And it'll be Baruch basketball up by 16 and 3 minutes to go in the first half. Dolphins pressing, and it's going to be a foul whistled, I believe, against Rigo Destime. That's really the first time the Baruch has had some trouble really breaking the press, Mike.
Yeah, and it ends up with Rigo picking up his second, so both Destime and Latunji with 2 personal fouls for the Dolphins with 3 minutes left in the half.
Dolphins again employing the press. This is Reese in the corner to Perasek. He hands it off to Fair. Fair back up top to Perasek. Now this is Fair. Looking inside of Reese, opts out to Smith. 5 on the shot clock. Richards gains the lane and off the glass and in. What a move by Richards.
Yeah, that was a nice move by Richards. He's really hurting the Dolphins, Dave. 13 points on 6 of 7 shooting.
And Cartalis with a highlight reel layup the other way. What a basket by Cartalis. Equaled that great move. Baruch is traveling all over the place, and they call a timeout. Well, that time Reese kind of did a pirouette, but he raised that right pivot foot, Mike, twice. Nothing called. And Baruch got away with a turnover there, but either way, they call a 30-second timeout. So really for the first time all game, Mike, 18 minutes in, Baruch is finally starting to have some trouble breaking the CSI press, and you could tell TJ Tibbs was very frustrated, Mike, at the Dolphins defensively. Baruch was cutting into their press way too easily. The Dolphins have amped up the defensive pressure.
Yeah, they have, Dave, and they've gotten the turnover number for the Bearcats up to 9, but the Bearcats have done a nice job. They've been able to hit their open shots. They've hit a couple of tough shots on the inside, and they find themselves up 16 with 2 minutes and 17 seconds remaining. A big 2:17 for the Dolphins.
Dolphins again put pressure, and it's stolen away by Latunji. Latunji, turnaround layup, no good, and the rebound won by Ziris. It's going to be a foul whistled against Baruch's Perasek. Although they do call it on Reese, perhaps. Reese, I don't know, is Reese in the game? Yes, he is. He's in the front court.
So Reese will pick up the foul, Dave, but a nice play by the Dolphins. Latunji can't hit the shot. He's 0 for 7, but Kopech will go to the line now.
Dolphins, this was a 1-and-1 opportunity, so Kopeck makes the all-important first one. Dolphins expending a lot of energy defensively. They've got to make it count into offense, and that's what Kopeck has a chance to do. He hits both, and we have a whistle for a substitution as Velasquez checks back in to replace Destine. Dolphins have cut the lead to 14 points with 2:11 remaining. Dolphins again in play, pressure. Fair, still looking to get it past the timeline, and finally Reese does it for him. Fair, Purisic being fronted by Kopeck. Purisic gives it over to Fair. Fair looking to cut inside. Nothing doing. He backs up. A lot of pressure on Fair. Intercepted at first and now finalized by Ziris. Here comes CSI the other way. Cartalis for three, no good. Long rebound won by Smith. So again, Mike, the Dolphins get the turnover but can't finish on the other side.
Yeah, they have 11 now, Dave, but a big miss by Cartalis.
And Baruch now 3-on-2. They cut into the press. This is a three-pointer by Fair. No good. Rebound won by Cartalis. Under 90 seconds to play in the first half. Dolphins down by 14. This is Latunji. Gave it over to Kopeck. Kopeck drives inside off the glass and in.
Big rebound by Cartalis triggers the offensive attack by the Dolphins. All of a sudden, Dave, it's a 12-point game.
Yep, and again, and there's a foul by Cartalis. He reached in on Fair. That's the team's sixth foul, so Baruch will not go to the line here. When the next one, they will. Dolphins putting enormous pressure on the ball handlers here of Baruch. When Baruch has been able to get past the press, they've looked dynamite, but they've had some difficulty here these last 2 minutes. The give is into Reese. Reese given just a hair of space. Gives it over to Richards. Richards cuts it inside, gains the paint, backs up, drop pass inside, and the layup is good by Smith.
Richards has been all over the floor, Dave. That's his fifth assist to go along with his 13 points.
Under a minute to go. Kopeck down by 14. Receives the screen, drops it off instead, gets it back on the baseline, skips it to Velasquez. Velasquez open three-pointer, no good. Ziris had it at first and has the ball deflected off of him and out of bounds.
Yeah, so that time the Dolphins can't hit the open three-pointer as Velasquez missed the shot, and a nice play by Baruch, knocking the ball off at Ziris. They'll inbound the basketball. 7.7 differential on the game clock and the shot clock.
Bajaranmi has come back into the game for Baruch. As Mike mentioned, minimal seconds between shot and game clock. Fair gets some space, gives it over to Bajaranmi. Inside give, this is Purisic. Had a window to shoot, opts out to Reese. Reese looking for something here. Now he gets it on the inside. Nice job by Reese. He almost lost it. Gives it back up. 5 on the shot clock. Bajaranmi back over to Reese. Reese sidesteps. Open look three-pointer, no good. Shot clock violation. The clock is still running, and that clock ran for 2 seconds. They'll probably get a replay of this to determine what time should be on the clock.
Yeah, but nice defense that time by the Dolphins, Dave. They continued to hustle and work as the Bearcats worked the ball around. They were unable to get the ball to the basket. So,
Joe Masha will let us know if 6 is indeed should be on the clock when that horn sounded. Either way, the Dolphins will have plenty of time to get a playoff here. It should be 6.7 on that clock.
Yeah. Too late now as the ball goes out of bounds. And the Dolphins will inbound with 1.1 seconds remaining.
No, they're going to reset it to 1.3. So a catch, maybe one dribble and a shot. We've seen highlights at buzzers between these two teams in the championship last year. We had a buzzer beater at the end of the first half and at the end of the game. No shortage of dramatics between these two teams. Destine will inbound. Latunji for 3, no good. And the Dolphins will go into halftime down by 14 points as TJ Tibbs will come on over to us and talk to us for a little bit here at the break.
And Adeola Latunji, Dave, 0 for 8 from the field in that first half as the Dolphins down 14.
All right, so TJ, after the first 20 minutes of this game, you find yourselves down by 14. What happened in the first half? How is Baruch keeping you off balance?
It was a very uninspired effort. Just considering the circumstances, and it's just
there's nothing else. It's a very uninspired effort. There's no effort. Just letting people walk to the basket. So very uninspired.
One of the things that Baruch has done well, at least in the beginning of the half, was breaking your press. Is that something that you guys are going to have to employ here in the second half on forward?
I mean, we're going to have to do something that lets them stop walking to the basket and getting open jump shots. They're just catching the ball too easily on offense. They're just playing harder than us. It's just what it is. They're playing so much harder than us.
And, Coach, in that first half, you guys were out rebounded 21-13. Is that part of the effort that you've been talking about?
Yeah, I'm sure they beat us in every single stat. They probably beat us in minutes played, too, every time, even though that we play the same amount of minutes. It's I hate to use this word, but it's just a disgusting effort, but we clean it up.
All right, so you got 20 minutes to rebound from this, Coach. Good luck then, final 20.
Thanks a lot.
All right, you got it. Head coach TJ Tibbs obviously has a lot of work to do here in the halftime, so we let him go off the hook maybe a minute or two earlier than we would have liked, Mike. But, Coach has come on here at halftime before and has really asked for more out of his team. I'm sure that's exactly what they're going to be saying in the halftime break.
Well, you heard the words of head coach T.J. Tibbs. That isn't you and I talking, Dave. That's the head coach of the team. He's not satisfied with the effort. He feels that the team could play more inspired basketball here on Senior Day this night. But, Dave, the Dolphins are out there. They're hustling. He's right. They have allowed a lot of open shots. But when your best player is 0 of 8 from the floor, it does make you look bad. And the Dolphins find themselves down 14. They've been down by as many as 17 in this half, Dave. They were able to cut the lead down to 12. And I think you can look for a better effort out of the Dolphins here in the second half.
All right, so what Mike and I will do is we will step aside. When we come back, we'll take a look at our halftime statistics. We'll get you ready for the second half of action live here from the tank. It's senior night at the College of Staten Island, and right now it's Baruch owning a 14-point lead at the half. Stay with us. More CSI men's basketball is coming up after this.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
When your car is damaged, where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4898.
Hi, Meals on Wheels.
I'm Marco. I'm a college student, and I volunteer as a driver for Meals on Wheels.
I think it's awesome meeting these people. I mean, they're so interesting. They've had so many wonderful experiences in life. Your community helps to raise you up into the person that you become. Meals on Wheels is a great way to give back to that community.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Welcome back. Here we are at halftime between CSI and Baruch College, a old rivalry that ends here tonight. And right now it's been all Baruch in the first half, 44-30. Mike, the CSI women were up at halftime 44-22 against Baruch, but the Bearcats on the men's side kind of returning the favor. They look dominant in stretches in that first half and are able to take a 14-point lead. And there are moments where you think that Staten Island lucky to be down just 14 here.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it, Dave. You heard head coach TJ Tibbs come over and talk about the team's effort in the first half. He's really looking for more out of this team in the second half. And, you know, Dave, we mentioned a little bit before going off the air, when your best player is shooting 0 for 8 from the field, it does make things tough, especially for a team that has offensive challenges to begin with.
Yeah, and you see the percentages on your screen. The Dolphins shooting just 36%. They are 0 of 9 from three-point range. And, you know, those numbers stand out so much more, Mike, because you look at the other side, and Baruch on 8 less shots are shooting 64%, and they're 5 of 11 from downtown. They're a +8 in the rebound category. That's a statistic that the Dolphins have struggled with all season long. And, you know, if not for being a +4 in the turnover column, this game could be a lot worse. The Dolphins are not getting good production from their bench tonight. They're being outscored. They're outscoring Baruch 10-2 from the bench. But really, Mike, Adeola Latunji 0 for 8 in the first half, 0 for 3 from three-point range. Baruch doing a great job bottling him up, but he's missed a couple of open jumpers, and if the Dolphins are going to get back in this game, they're going to need to rely on Addy.
Yeah, you know, there's no doubt about that, Dave. And the Dolphins also out getting rebounded in that first half, 21-13. So, you know, they're going to look to play much better in the first half than they did in half number 2. The final 20 minutes of the men's basketball season. Now the final 20 minutes of the basketball season here at the College of Staten Island.
Yeah, the Dolphins are 9-15 overall, and they're looking to get in the double-digit victory column. I can't remember the last time the Dolphins finished with just single-digit victories. It might have been 2008, 2009, when the Dolphins finished 6-20. It was Jordan Young's very first season at CSI, Dale Toronto's first season at CSI, and 3 years later, the Dolphins were in the NCAA Sweet 16. So things turned quickly. but the Dolphins are struggling through this one, and Baruch College looking to finish their season strong. The Dolphins are already out on the floor. Their coaching staff, very subdued, sitting down on the sidelines, letting their players kind of figure it out. Mike, to figure it out, what do the Dolphins have to do in the second half of play?
Well, they're going to have to defend much better, first of all, Dave, and that's where it's all going to start. They're going to have to D up on the Baruch players. They're going to have to rebound the basketball better in the second half. And, obviously they're going to look for Adiola Latunji, their leading scorer, to be better in half number 2. Hard to believe. Adiola, no points in that first half. I'm pretty sure, Dave, I can't remember another game this year where he was scoreless at halftime. I doubt there was such a game, but Dolphins are going to need a lot of scoring out of Adiola here in the second half. And, we mentioned earlier, Dave, the Dolphins fell behind in this game by a score of 20-4, so they've been working their way out of a hole really since the beginning of the game.
Yeah, they're going to need a lot of points. They're going to need them in a hurry. Tonight is senior night at CSI. Mike, it's good to see some alumni in attendance across from us. The great Frankie Sciattino, a future CSI Hall of Famer, I'm sure. Vinny DeCunto is flanking him. David Paul, a CSI Hall of Famer who enjoyed a great night here on Sunday with the Harlem Wizards, a great fundraiser for CSI. Want to thank the community for coming out in that one and supporting. David Paul is in the house. Michael Tate to our left is in the stands as well. We got Tom Delahanty that we saw as well. So it's always great to see familiar faces coming back. The alumni has been strong. And Mike, win, lose, or draw. Obviously, there is no draws. But Dolphins are putting the finishing touches on their first ever Division II season. It's provisional. They played a majority of a D3 schedule, all CUNY opponents. Next year, it starts really for real. Entire ECC 16-game season there, and it's going to be a lot of intense new rivalries to usher in.
Yeah, Dave, it's going to be going to new gyms on the road, bringing in new teams here at the tank to play at the tank, and a lot of excitement. We've spoken to head coach TJ Tibbs throughout the year about this conversion over to D2, and everybody's really excited about it. And of course, the Dolphins losing 3 seniors here tonight, but also have a lot of returning talent coming back for next year, Dave.
And he just exited your screen to your left, but Shamal Martin, a redshirt freshman, he'll probably come back into your screen at some point, but he's being redshirted this year. He had a really dynamic freshman season last year. The Dolphins willingly elected to redshirt him so he could develop more as a player. He'll have 3 years ahead of him. And Christian Taylor, Mike, the CUNY Player of the Year last year, underwent surgery during the offseason to repair an injury. He could have returned this year if he really wanted to and really condensed his rehab, but coaches decided to specifically keep him out this year so he could be fully recovered for the injury next year. So, we forget the Dolphins are going to bring in talent, but they're going to welcome back 2 of their most dynamic players next year in Taylor and Martin.
Yeah, and what a difference that's going to make for this team. You add a Christian Taylor to this team. You add a Shamal Martin to this team. You mix it in with the recruiting class and the returning players, and that's going to be the opening D2 team for the Dolphins. And there's a lot of talent on that team, and it's going to be very exciting because every game, for the most part, is going to be the first time we're playing these teams within the conference. Certainly the first time that the games will count as conference games. So, a lot of excitement heading into the season, but we still got 20 exciting minutes of basketball day before then. And that the one thing that we've seen out of this CSI men's basketball team all year long is a lot of mental toughness, and they always seem to play the full 40 minutes. So look for the Dolphins to make a couple of runs here, Dave, in this second half.
Yeah, one thing we could say about the Dolphins is they just do not know the word quit. They play hard from the minute the game starts to the minute it ends. They may lack the horses at times, Mike. We've seen that. They've battled injuries at times. We know Austin Mick has been out of the lineup now the last couple of games. That's a big loss as a primary ball handler. But the Dolphins just keep coming, and they're not going to quit, and we'll see what they have in store for us here, the final 20 minutes of their regular season.
Yeah, the final 20 minutes of their season within the CUNYAC Conference. And, TJ Tibbs, of course, a player on this men's basketball team, an assistant coach with Baruch College, and, just so many experiences. I remember the game where the Dolphins were trailing late in the second half on the road. TJ made a couple of huge three-pointers to tie it up. The Dolphins ended up winning that one. I think, Dave, it was at least double overtime. Yep. Just some of the phenomenal efforts that we could reminisce about all night here on Sportsnet.
That was a game that TJ always remembers because you covered that game with the late Eddie Buttle. If you remember, he joined you on that broadcast and got a kick out of that as well. It was such a great game. And we have a whistle here on the court. I guess there was a fan on the court, probably inadvertently. In any event, Baruch scores the first basket of the second half. They find themselves up by 16, and here come the Dolphins the other way. They need points. They need them quickly. Adeola Latunji, no shot. He did make the basket, but it was going to be a foul before the shot on number 11, Adnan Bajaranmi, who had a big start to the game. I think he might have scored Baruch's 9 out of the first 11 points for Baruch, but since then he's been quiet. Destim inside, off the glass, no good. It skips around the rim. Actually, he didn't use the glass, and here comes Baruch the other way. 3-on-1, inside, no good by Bajaramni, missed again. And here come the Dolphins the other way. 3-on-2, Cartalis skips in. Kopak off the glass, no good. Rebound won by Ziris. Ziris turnaround. His layup no good. He gets spilled. Nothing called. And here comes Don Lennon for Baruch. Bajaranmi gives over to Don Lennon. Richards, who had a spectacular first half, gives over to Smith. Smith had Bajaramni open for a split second. He does get it back, working off of Destim, and a foul whistled against the Dolphins, their first foul of the second half.
Yeah, that'll be on Rigo, Dave, and that's going to be his third. So he picks up his third personal here early in the second half. Dave, the Dolphins with 3 opportunities inside the paint, unable to hit any of them, and that's kind of been the way the evening has gone so far for CSI.
Purasek with the basket and the foul, and that'll be on Latunji. That'll be his third. So now foul trouble is an issue for the Dolphins with 2 of their starters.
Yeah, and in addition to that, Dave, they've allowed the first 2 baskets of the second half. They had cut the lead down to 12, but since that time, Dave, Baruch has been on a 6-0 run.
And Purasek completes the 3-point play and puts Baruch up by 19 points. It's their biggest lead of the game, and they've scored the first 5 here. Destim fakes the open jumper, instead gives to Latunji. He misses it off the back iron. He's 0 for 9 from the floor. Here comes Baruch the other way. 2-on-1. Bajaramni misses. Richards with the rebound and the putback.
Yeah, so Richards' strong night continues, Dave. He's filling up the stat sheet in every column.
Easily the best player for Baruch tonight has been Richards. He's just been spectacular. Kopak for 3. No good. Rebound. It's going to be a foul whistled on Ziris for the Dolphins. And things going from bad to worse here as the Dolphins find themselves down by 21 points.
Yeah, Dave, for the Dolphins, they haven't scored so far here in the second half in the first minute and 44 seconds, and Baruch has been able to come out and put 7 points on the board.
Destim and Latunji both out, replaced by Delahanty and Velasquez. Inside give, turnaround, put back. Purasek is off on the shot. Here come the Dolphins. They need some points. Velasquez to Delahanty, left open for 3. Delahanty, no good. And it's won by Don Lennon. Don Lennon, reverse dribble, gives it over to Smith. Smith from just outside the free throw line. He misses his jumper, and here comes CSI the other way. Approaching 17 and a half left. Ziris, left open, mid-range jumper. That's good.
Yeah, so the Dolphins finally get their first points in the second half.
Dolphins do back off the press here. Instead, they'll let Velasquez work one-on-one against Don Lennon. Bounce passes over to Smith, and now Richards. Richards up top. Bajaramni giving it over to Smith. This is Richards, left open for a second. Gains the paint. Gives over to Don Lennon. Skip pass inside. It's won by Smith. Turnaround jumper on the baseline is good.
Yeah, Smith continues his strong game here tonight as well, Dave. 5 of 6 for his 10 points.
And Baruch has shot 62% in this game. Kopech to Kartalis. And his pass is to no one on the inside.
Dave, the Dolphins now 0 of 10 from the three-point line, 0 of 5 from the field here in this second half as Baruch has busted this one open, now leading by 21.
Can't be. The Dolphins definitely have a basket in this half. Score is 53-32. Our live stats are down. Let's see if they come back up. There's a pocket pick by Adeola Tunji. He comes the other way, losing it initially, takes it back inside, being double teamed, and finally gets his first basket of the evening. He's 1 for 10.
Yeah, so Adeola gets that one to roll in as the Dolphins will have to try to chip away once again.
Intercepted by Velasquez. This is Kartalis. Puts it up off the glass and in.
Yeah, that's a good way to start, Dave. A big turnover in the basket, and that cuts the lead down to 53-36.
Here come Baruch now the other way. They break the press. Badger-Romney. Skip pass. Giving it over to Dunlennon. Dunlennon now. Over to Badger-Romney. Looking inside. Purisic. Turnaround jumper, no good. That's a foul on Nathaniel Ormond.
Yeah, so the 6'7" sophomore will pick up the loose ball foul. That's going to be his first, the team's second, as we'll have a timeout, Dave.
Timeout on the floor. It's immediate timeout. We'll step aside, take a break. Baruch 53, CSI 36. More CSI basketball after this.
Now Taylor looks to drive, and a beautiful bounce pass finished on the slam by Adeola Latunji. What a feed by Christian Taylor.
It was such a beautiful play, and Christian saw it, came open, put in the perfect bounce pass, and the Dolphins have their lead.
Jumper no good, and Christian Taylor gets the rebound. We're under 2 minutes to play. Touchdown pass, Kartel, drop off to Latunji. Nice bit of ball movement by the Dolphins. The first pass from Taylor to Kartalis, and then Kartalis to Latunji.
Every highlight reel finish, every home game, all season long, catch all of the live action on CSI Sportsnet.
We are back here. The Dolphins trying to get themselves out of a gaping hole here. They're down by 17. They've been down by as many as 21. Dolphins still have a long way to go, but they've pieced together a couple of good things here, Mike, in this second half here lately.
Yeah, you know, they got off to a slow start shooting here in the second half, Dave, which was something they really couldn't afford to do, but they're trying to turn the intensity up. They've trailed by as many as 21. They've cut it down to 17. And they'll get to inbound the basketball now as Velasquez will bring the ball up the floor.
Baruch has outscored the Dolphins 9-6 in this half, but the Dolphins have generated some turnovers, and here is Latunji, whose pass to Kartalis was tipped out of bounds. You can feel the excitement in the crowd looking for Latunji to get on track. He's 1 for 10 from the floor, 0 for 3 from the three-point line, but players like Latunji really don't care what their stat line is. They're tasked to make things happen. It's Aziris for 3. His three-pointer is halfway down and out. So here comes Baruch the other way. They're looking to run it up the floor. They get it over to Reese. Purisic. Back up top to Richards. They work it around. Badger-Romney for 3. That's no good. And Velasquez gets the rebound. Badger-Romney has now missed his last 5 shots. Latunji fakes a 3, steps inside, gives it to Velasquez. Velasquez for 3, no good. Missed it badly, and Purisic gets the rebound.
Yeah, Velasquez has had a couple of open looks tonight, Dave, that he hasn't been able to connect on.
Dolphins are 0 for 12 from three-point range. Reese tried to skip it over and out of bounds. Last touch by Velasquez.
Yeah, nice hustle on that play by Chris, but unable to maintain control of the basketball, so the Bearcats will get to inbound with 16 on the clock.
Ormond gets some extended minutes here in the second half. Gives over to Richards, and Ormond skips it inside, and that's going to be an offensive foul on Perisic. Got the arm bar on Velasquez, and that time Perisic was whistled for the foul. That's his third, so he's the first Bearcat in some degree of foul trouble. Dunlennon is the only other. He has 2 fouls.
Baruch now with 14 turnovers, Dave, as the Dolphins turning up the defense.
Intercepted. Latunji's pass was picked off by Perisic. Baruch up by 17, looking to grow it. Reese inside, wide open, underneath. Ormond misses the layup. Might have gotten a tip on it, was Ziris. Velasquez, back to Delahanty. Up top to Latunji for 3.
Then hopefully Adiola starting to heat up, Dave. He's hit his last 2.
14-point lead for Baruch. They've led by 21. This is Ormond. Here's the give. Ormond is trapped. He needs to get rid of the ball. Losing it to Velasquez. Jump ball possession to the Dolphins.
Yeah, so a nice defensive play by the Dolphins as you see Latunji hit the first 3-pointer of the night for the Dolphins on their 14th attempt. And now Velasquez in the middle of the Dolphins defense once again as they'll have the basketball down 14 on a 9-2 run.
Latunji skips inside. His shot was blocked by Ormond. Latunji wanted a goaltend. Won't get it. Here comes Reese. That was a big trip defensively for Baruch. Smith, Reese thought about a 3. Instead, Baruch will use the shot clock. Badger Romney, who's gone cold from the floor after a hot start. Almost intercepted, and now is by Cartalis. Another turnover for the Bearcats. Can the Dolphins make them pay? Cartalis. Now here's Velasquez from the free throw line. Velasquez, no good. Delahanty is out of bounds.
Yeah, Chris just struggling from the field. Dave, he had a nice open jumper there. He couldn't hit it. Delahanty tried to save the ball, but was stepping on the end line. The Dolphins down 14, Dave. They had 2 possessions to cut it to that 14-point lead. They've been unable to do so, but they have forced 16 Bearcat turnovers, so they're going to look to keep up that defensive intensity. Smith bringing the ball across the floor, getting it over to Richards.
Yeah, so Richards now collects. Again, Baruch staying very calm and collected as Reese gets it over to Fair. Baruch has done a lot of their work here on the perimeter, just waiting for the chance to cut it inside. And this is Richards. Richards puts one up wildly, and he misses because Latunji, this is the Dolphins' 3rd attempt now to break into this 14-point edge. And stripped by Baruch, but it does go out of bounds as Rigo Destine will check back in for the Dolphins. 12:30 to go. Delahanty steps out. But, Mike, the Dolphins have to start really maximizing on these turnovers for Baruch. Baruch leaving the door ajar a little bit, but the Dolphins have yet to step through.
Yeah, they're leaving the door ajar, Dave, but the Dolphins just 4-14 from the field, 1-5 from the 3-point line, and that's not going to be enough to cut into this large deficit.
So Kopech now resets things. This is Cartalis. Destine to Kopech. Kopech bangs near the foul line. Latunji for 3, no good. And Smith collects the rebound. Dolphins continue to be quiet here. They're 4 of 14 in the second half. They've had their opportunities. This is Fair. Turnaround layup in the paint. Can't get to it. And this is Smith off the rim, no good. And Baruch has now gone cold. I think Baruch has one of their last 7 shots. Cartalis for 3, no good. Extended for the rebound. Ziris gets it back, puts one up. He's fouled. He'll go to the line. Man, oh man, no one can hit a shot here as we're going to have a timeout. Immediate timeout after the foul call against Smith. We'll take a timeout. Step aside. Baruch College leads by 14 points, 53-39. Stay with us. More CSI basketball coming up next.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island. Be sure to check out the
Welcome back here. The Dolphins down by 14, looking for a way back into this one. 11:51, Mike. There's still time, but it's going to come to a close if the Dolphins really can't maximize these deficiencies that Baruch has had taking care of the basketball.
Yeah, Dave, it's been a last couple of minutes where the Dolphins down by 14 have had at least 3 or 4 opportunities to cut into that 14-point lead. They've been unable to do so, but now Joe Ziris will go to the free throw line with an opportunity to shoot 2.
So Ziris' first attempt is no good, and the Dolphins continue to be ice cold here in these last couple of minutes. They've done the job defensively. They've been meriting some turnovers. They're now a +7 in that category, but they have just not been able to hit. They're stuck on 39 points. Second free throw is good, so they hit 40. But the Dolphins find themselves down by 13. Now here comes the press. They trap Richards. Badger Romney. Here comes Baruch. 2-on-1 the other way. Bounce pass to Smith. His shot was blocked, but too much body by Ziris, and Smith will go to the line. And, Ziris, Mike, showing what he thinks is an offensive foul. Baruch kind of gotten away with that arm bar underneath. I've seen it a bunch of times. And that time, I didn't see it that time. But then again, I was shielded by the referee. But Ziris complaining that the arm bar is coming up.
Yeah, and that time Baruch was able to break the Dolphin press, which they've struggled with in the later stages of the first half and here in the second, but a miss by Smith on the first attempt.
Baruch 4 of 6 from the free throw line as a team. Smith has 10 points and 10 rebounds. So he's having himself a nice day, but he misses both ends of the free throws. Desteem over to Cartalis. Cartalis, open three-pointer, no good. And the Dolphins continue to be cold from the floor. Down by 13. Smith, bounce pass, almost intercepted by Cartalis, and now is off of Smith, out of bounds. Another turnover for the Bearcats.
Dolphins doing a nice job getting the turnover, Dave, but they're just 1 of 17 from the three-point line, including 1 of 8 here in the second half.
Dolphins have 16 points off Bearcats turnovers, but they have been stuck here. Foul against Fair. Dolphins' last field goal came at the 14-15 mark, so they are 3 minutes without a field goal. And they are shooting just 4 of 17 here in the second half. That's 17% if you're scoring at home. Desteem. Latunji left open for 3, no good. And it's still alive. Latunji gets it off the glass, no good, no contact on the play. And that goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Bearcats, but Mike, that's not a block shot. And either it's an offensive foul or a defensive foul. The contact was blatant.
Yeah, there's a lot of contact there, Dave, as Desteem's three-pointer is way off, but Adiola just 2 of 14 on the afternoon. Rigo now 2 of 7 on the afternoon, and, the Dolphins just can't buy a basket, Dave, so they've gotten the lead down to 13, but have squandered a lot of opportunities to make it closer.
And it's not collected well by Reese, and the Dolphins get another turnover. It's almost like the Bearcats are just daring the Dolphins to get back into the game, Mike.
Yeah, Baruch came in to the game tonight, really averaging just over 17 turnovers a game.
And Cartalis finally breaks the cold stretch, and the Dolphins are down by just 10. Baruch has left the door wide open, and the Dolphins finally climbing their way through it. Another errant pass. Almost skipped away. Dunlennon, 3-on-1 for Baruch the other way. Blocking foul on Ziris.
Yeah.
Smith waited for the contact and got it.
Yeah, let's have an opportunity to see Cartalis hit his first three-pointer of the night to make it a 10-point game. But the Bearcats able to break the Dolphin press and get the ball to the basket. It was close, Dave, as to which way that foul would be called. It's called on Ziris. Dave, that's a huge foul. That's number 4 for Ziris.
Yeah, with an eternity left in the game, too. 10 minutes and 38 seconds. But Smith, who has missed his first 2 free throws of the season, of the game, he's 0 for 2 tonight. Baruch as a team is 4 for 7. I think Mike's going to get us Smith's free throw numbers.
68% coming into the game tonight, Dave.
Fans keeping it quiet for Smith. And he nets the first one.
Yeah, Dolphins were close on that, Dave. They did a nice job pressing. Baruch able to get it above the midcourt, and then they came down 3-on-1 on Ziris, and he committed the foul, and he now goes to the bench with 4, with Tunji and Destine with 3. So the Dolphins building up the fouls, and Baruch opens their lead back to 12.
And so CSI, which had an 11-2 run over the last 6 minutes, without scoring a field goal in quite some time, Baruch finally is able to break that up. This is Cartalis, left open originally, skirts the baseline. Destine, Kopech drives inside off the glass, no good, too strong, and the errant rebound ends up to Latunji. He misses the short jumper, and now Smith being harassed. Touchdown pass the other way. Wide open, Bajramni underneath, and he skips it in.
Yeah, so just like that, Dave, the lead back to 14. And now Latunji's going to get called for the travel, and Adiola having a senior night that he's going to want to forget, Dave.
Yeah, 2 for 16, and that was his second turnover. And we're going to have a timeout called by the Dolphins. So with 10-12 remaining, this will be a full timeout. We'll step aside, take a break. When we come back, more CSI basketball action. They're down by 14.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
We're back here following a CSI timeout. It will be Baruch College basketball. They are up by 14 points. And Mike, we were, 4 or 5 minute stretch where this game could have went really either way. The Dolphins, aside from that 3-point basket that we saw moments ago, really have been ice cold from the floor. They're 1 out of their last 11 shots. Baruch is 1 out of their last 6. But really, they've been turnover prone, and the Dolphins can't hit a shot.
Yeah, Dolphins 5 of 23 here in the second half.
Dunlennon misses a wide open layup. Here comes CSI the other way. Can they take advantage? Wide open, Cartalis for 3, no good. And the rebound won by Smith. Baruch breaking the press. This is Richards. Top of the arc, Purisek. Inside, wide open is Smith. Off the glass, no good. And now Baruch continues to grow cold. Baruch just leaving the door open. Kopech. Missed 3.
Dolphins now 2 of 22, Dave, from the three-point line.
Off of Cartalis and out of bounds. Dunlennon could have been called for a carry on that last exchange, Mike. Kind of lost control. Reese will replace Dunlennon. And Baruch will control. got to credit the Dolphins defensively. Their press has bothered Baruch. But Baruch has had ample opportunities to close this one out. Inside, Reese is fouled by Delahanty.
Yeah, so the Dolphins just playing with fire, not able to convert the baskets. And Baruch, even though they haven't been that effective offensively here in the second half, just going 5 of 16 from the field. But the Dolphins just 5 of 25, Dave, so Baruch able to hold on to their lead.
Yeah, the teams combined 10 of 41 in the half. That's less than 25%. A lot of defense. There's been a lot of pressure. That free throw is good. So Baruch back up now by 16. Cartalis in the corner. Sheds 2 defenders. Gets it over to Destim. Destim drives off the glass. No good. Offensive rebound, Delahanty. He's fouled.
So nice play that time by Delahanty as he grabs his 5th rebound. And Dolphins have done a nice job on the offensive glass, Dave, out-rebounding Baruch 11 of 4, but just really struggling from the field, both inside, outside, and at the three-point line. And the Dolphins find themselves down 16 with just over 9 remaining.
Dolphins are 5 of 26 from the floor, 2 of 13 from the three-point line, and now just 1 of 3 from the free throw line here in the second half. Second free throw is no good by Delahanty, and that one was missed very badly. And for some strange reason, Mike, it might be the fatigue that has set in, but the Dolphins have just been really wild with their shooting, and we haven't seen a shooting performance like this in quite some time.
Yeah, and Dave, even when they've had the opportunity at open looks, they just haven't been able to hit them as Baruch opens their lead back up to 18.
8-0 run for Baruch after CSI diminished the lead by 10. Latunji drives in off the glass, no good. It was short, and here comes Baruch the other way. 3 against 2, developing. Bajramny breaks it back out to Richards. Richards to Reese. Reese hands it off to Smith Jr. Bajramny, short jumper off the glass, no good. Smith could have been called for a foul there. Instead, it'll be Dolphins basketball as Bajramny has gone ice cold since that hot start. Bajramny now is one of his last 7, sorry.
He's going to check out of the game, Dave, for the Bearcats.
Dolphins are down by 18 points. And if they're going to get back in it, they're going to need a lot of points in a hurry. Ball's out of bounds, and Dolphins are going to have to go red hot here, Mike, over these next 8 minutes. On a night where they just haven't had it from the floor. Latunji to Destim. Destim sheds 1 defender. Bounce pass underneath to Cartalis, and that one is good.
Nice extra pass that time by Rigo. He'll pick up his 3rd assist of the game.
Errant pass goes out of bounds. Turnover for Baruch as once again they struggle. We have an official timeout on the floor. We are under 8 minutes to play. Baruch College 61 and Staten Island 45. More CSI basketball coming up after this.
Now Taylor looks to drive, and a beautiful bounce pass finished on the slam by Adiola Latunji. What a feed by Christian Taylor.
It was such a beautiful play, and Christian saw it, came open, put in the perfect bounce pass, and the Dolphins have their biggest lead.
Jumper no good, and Christian Taylor gets the rebound. We're under 2 minutes to play. Touchdown pass, Cartel, drop off to Latunji. Nice bit of ball movement by the Dolphins. The first pass from Taylor to Cartalis, and then Cartalis to Latunji.
Every highlight reel finish, every home game, all season long, catch all of the live action on CSI Sportsnet.
Welcome back here. The Dolphins down by 16, looking for something here to get them started. An Andrew Cartalis layup broke up an 8-0 run, Mike, but they're going to need some more points.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, Dave. The Dolphins just picked their worst time to get cold. They were able to cut the lead down to 10, 53-43, but before cutting that lead down to 10, Dave, they had numerous opportunities at the basket and have just been ice cold from the field tonight. 6 of 28 from the field in the second half. That's just 21%. 19 of 64 on the game. That's under 30%. And Baruch shooting at 50% despite turning the ball over twice as much as the Dolphins have a 16-point lead.
It's not for lack of effort. Dolphins are working extremely hard. They just haven't been getting anything to fall. Velasquez drops off, intercepted by Baruch, and they get the turnover now. Turnovers are 20-11 in favor of the Dolphins. That was a big one there. Another opportunity to cut into the lead, squandered by the Dolphins. This is Purisic. Fall away jumper. That's good on the baseline.
Yeah, that time he bounced off of Delahanty looking for the foul. Nothing called, but able to hit the floater.
Of all the shots to go in, Mike, that one chose to go in. That was one of the toughest we've seen. Velasquez for three. No good. Dolphins struggle from the three-point line continues. They're 2 of 23 in the game.
Chris 1 of 6 from the field here tonight.
Smith left open by himself at the top of the arc. This is Richards now. Dolphins down by 18. They need a stop, and they need baskets. Baruch content to just wind it down. Fair lost control. It's won by Smith. Back to Reese. Reese for three. No good. Off the fingertips. Now Purisic gets his own rebound. Misses 2 shots, and here come the Dolphins the other way. Very unorthodox play by both teams. Velasquez, inside give to Delahanty. He turns around in the lane. Short baby hook is good.
Nice baby hook there by Delahanty for the Dolphins. He's got 6 here on senior night.
Dolphins down by 16. They need stops. Smith gains the timeline. Dolphins have to put pressure on Smith. Now they do. And Fair comes up with it. Top of the arc. Purisic behind the back pass. What was that about? Inexplicable turnover. And Latunji's going to get fouled. That's just not a smart play by Purisic. His team up by 18 points, 16 points, and he's trying behind the back passes.
Yeah, very bad decision that time by the Bearcats, and now the Bearcats will pick up their 7th foul of the second half, so that will send Latunji to the free throw line for the first time tonight.
So Latunji is stuck at 5 points here. Misses the first of a 1-and-1.
So Adiola's struggles on senior night continue.
Just a frustrating game, Mike, on both sides now. This second half has been tough. It's been tough to stomach because both of these teams are so much better than the way they're playing. Now, a lot of great energy defensively from both teams. A lot of great defensive play, but man, oh man, the misses have been inexplicable. And there's another one by Purisic right underneath the basket. Here come the Dolphins the other way. Can they convert? Cartalis getting roughed up. 2 guys end up in the stands, and now we have a foul as Smith might have been guilty of a reach-in on Adeola Latunji.
Yeah, the refs have really been letting the players play here in the second half, and Latunji will go back to the free throw line. Adeola missed his first free throw attempt of the evening on the Dolphins' last possession. He's a 76% free throw shooter coming into the game, and this time he hits the first.
Latunji 2 of 17 from the floor, 1 of 2 from the line. And it would be one thing, Mike, if it was just him, but really a host of good shooters have really had tough games today on both sides. And Latunji misses another free throw. He's now 1 of 3 from the line. Dolphins down by 15. Here comes the press again for the Dolphins. In the corner, wide open was Bajaromny, but he wisely uses the shot clock instead. Richards, who's been excellent tonight, gives it over to Bajaromny. Stutter steps. Now drives, opts out to Richards. 7 on the shot clock. Richards gains the paint. He's out of control. They give it up. Dunlennon for 3. No good. And Cartalis gets the rebound. 5 minutes remaining. Cartalis skates down the right sideline, gains the paint. Off the rim, no good, but Cartalis will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, that was a nice aggressive move that time by Cartalis. He wasn't able to hit the shot, but he will go to the free throw line here to shoot 2 as the Dolphins trying to make one final run here at the Bearcats.
Cartalis now His first free throw is good. The Dolphins as a team were just 6 of 12 from the line. That brings them up over the 50% threshold. As Kartalis now with 14 points. He leads the Dolphins. His second free throw is good. Dolphins will bring in Brian Gomez and Joe Ziris. Kartalis out for a quick breath and Delahanty out. Ziris is going to be playing with 4 fouls. Baruch knows that. They'll probably attack him. Dolphins again with the press. Again, Baruch having some problems. And now here comes Richards. He sheds Gomez. Richards, coast to coast, off the glass, no good. And the miss is corralled by Velasquez. Velasquez looks right, looks left, almost lost it. Gets it back. He needs help. Gives it over to Kopech, to Latunji. Latunji thought about a 3. Drives, baseline, and it's off Baruch and out of bounds with 18 on the shot clock. Dolphins need points quickly now, Mike. As Baruch doesn't really have to score another point. Dolphins really have to score on every possession. They're only going to get 8 or 9 left. Velasquez, some separation, and the short jumper is good. Dolphins back down by 11.
Big basket there by Velasquez. Dave, like you said, it's down to 11.
Dunlennon has to shed Gomez. Latunji offers some help. It's tipped away by Ziris. Here comes Latunji. He dunks it home. And the Dolphins are down by 9. Whistles blow. Baruch needs to ask for time. 4:12 remaining, and the Dolphins are down to within single digits for the first time since the early stages of the first half. We'll keep it right here, Mike.
Yeah, Dave, the last time this was a single-digit game was when it was 13-4 Baruch, when Baruch was in the middle of that early run in the beginning of the game. But, you know, one thing we've talked about this Dolphin team, Dave, whether they're playing well or poorly, they continue to play hard. They've done a nice job here. It seemed like they were out of the game just a couple of minutes ago, but now down just 9 with 4:12 remaining, and Baruch really scrambling, Dave. Baruch really hasn't been smart with the basketball in their last few possessions, and the Dolphins have made them pay. You see that turnover there as Ziris tips the ball forward, and Latunji able to jam it home and really provide some excitement to this crowd for the first time here tonight.
Yeah, Baruch, I think, wisely calling a timeout there. Now they only have 1 left with 4:12 remaining here in this game. We're going to get another timeout when we're inside of 4 minutes to go. That'll be a media timeout, but they got to be careful here because Baruch has had problems inbounding the ball on the CSI press. So with only the 1 timeout, Dolphins are, you know, looking good here on their press recently. And, you know, Mike, you think of some tremendous opportunities lost in this game because the Dolphins, you know, had that window open for a lot longer, and only now have they really ushered that in. But a good job by Coach Alisi to settle down his team. And Baruch still has a very sizable advantage here with 4:12 left.
Yeah, and, you know, Baruch's been very sloppy in the last couple of minutes here, Dave, and, you know, really forcing things and turning the ball over when what they really should be looking to do is run down shot clock with a big lead. And now, although the Bearcats have a 9-point lead, the momentum has shifted a little bit onto the Dolphins' side. So big possession here for the Bearcats.
Baruch looking to break the press. And that one is going to be tipped off of Baruch, and another turnover for the Bearcats.
Yeah, that time, big turnover for the Dolphins. Their 23rd turnover forced against Baruch here tonight, as Ziris will check back into the game for the Dolphins for Gomez. Dolphins right back in it.
What a huge offensive series this is now, and Baruch elected to have Pirasek control the ball there coming off the inbounds. Not sure if that was the way to go. In any event, the Dolphins have a big chance here to cut into this lead. Kopech to Latunji. Adiola Latunji. Drops off to Ziris. Ziris thought about it. Gives it up to Kartalis instead. Drives in the lane. Puts up the layup. No good. He will go to the line.
Yeah, so Kartalis penetrating inside the Bearcat defense. He once again couldn't hit the shot, but he drew the foul, and Baruch will be in the double bonus day for the rest of the night, as Kartalis will go to the free throw line as George Smith picks up his 3rd personal.
Kartalis with 15 points. He misses the first of the 2-shot foul. He's 2 of 4 from the line. The Dolphins as a team, 8 of 15 from the free throw line. That's just 53%. They miss them and make them in bunches. Second free throw, no good. Missed both. And that's 2 huge misses for the Dolphins. Again, Baruch leaving the door open. The Dolphins could not enter. Now it's Smith. Dolphins still putting on ample defensive pressure. This is Reese looking for space. Finds Richards. 15 on the shot clock. Back over. Bajaromny intercepted by Kartalis. Here comes Kartalis the other way. Off the glass. No good, and the foul.
So Kartalis fouled very hard on the play, Dave, and he didn't allow those two misses from the free throw line to affect his defensive intensity. Took the ball right to the basket, was fouled hard, so he will go back to the free throw line to shoot another 2 free throws.
So Kartalis, who's 2 of 5 from the free throw line, will have 2 shots, and these are just simply huge free throws for the Dolphins.
Yeah, he's 61% from the line coming into the game here tonight. Like you mentioned, Dave, 2 of 5 from the line here tonight.
Dolphins with just a hair over 50% in their loss against Hunter College, and huge sigh of relief on Kartalis' face after that make, but there's still one more coming, just as important as the last one. Dolphins are down by 8, as Mike mentioned, since the early stages of the first half. Second free throw is too strong. No good. Bajaromny gets it. Dolphins continue to be 50% from the free throw line. Bajaromny. He's getting harassed by Kartalis. This is Reese. Reese inside to Purasek. And we're going to have a foul. It's going to be a blocking foul whistled against Kartalis, who spent a lot of time on the floor, Mike, these last few minutes.
Yeah, so the Dolphins, Dave, down 9, got 4 attempts from the free throw line, but unfortunately could only hit 1, so they make it an 8-point game, and now Purasek will go to the free throw line.
He's a 48% free throw shooter, Mike, and he's 1 for 1 tonight. Got to get a spill cleaned up there as bodies fell to the floor, so chance to get that dampness soaked up. Like, just the way you're looking at me is making me.
I'm sorry.
So the Dolphins with 3:11 on the clock. They're down by 8.
We're still having a little cleaning of the floor. Now it's completed. So a big 1-and-1 opportunity here, Dave, coming up for Baruch.
All right, so here we go. Purasek, 2 huge ones. The fans making some noise here at the tank. First of the 1-on-1 is no good. Looks like Velasquez might have gotten hit, but here comes Latunji to Ziris. Offensive foul on Ziris, and that'll foul him out of the game.
Boy, Dave, that's just exactly what the Dolphins did not need, as Ziris kind of lost control of his body a little bit, Dave, and committed the foul. That's a big turnover there for the Dolphins, one they could ill afford. Not only does it turn possession over, Dave, when you're down 8 with just over 3 minutes remaining, but it fouls Ziris out of the game.
So Ziris' final line, 11 points on 4 of 8 shooting, 3 for 4 from the line. He had 5 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 turnover, and, of course, the 5 personal fouls. Rigo Destine will check back into the game for the Dolphins. Baruch again with another chance to shut the door a little bit further here on the Dolphins. They're up by 8 with the basketball. Long inbounds pass and breaking it. Bajaromny, Purasek off the glass, and that's good. So lead is back up to 10. Under 3 minutes to play. Dolphins need points on just about every possession. Kartalis, baseline jumper is good. And the Dolphins cut the lead back to 8. Dolphins employing the press. This is Richards. Richards gets some space. Looking middle of the floor. Bajaromny. Bajaromny skips it over to Purasek. And back up top to Richards. They reset. Dunlennon. Dunlennon continues to control. Working off Velasquez. Dunlennon to Richards. Richards to Purasek. Purasek working on Latunji. Looks inside to Dunlennon, and a foul whistled against Kartalis. Dunlennon will go to the line to shoot a 1-and-1.
Yeah, that time, Dave, not really what the Dolphins were looking for. They allow 21 seconds to run off the shot clock before Kartalis commits the foul. So now the Bearcats will go to the free throw line once again. Big 1-and-1 opportunity.
Best free throw shooter on Baruch, 82%. First free throw is good. Dunlennon's been doing it all year from the free throw line. He's been very good. 32 of 39 for the season. He's 3 of 3 tonight. To put the Bearcats back up by 10 with 143 seconds to go. Misses the second. Velasquez gets the rebound. Dolphins are down by 9. They need points. Desteam all the way inside, and that short jumper is good. 7-point deficit.
That time the Dolphins chose to go for the quick 2. Down 7 now.
Baruch inbounding. Dunlennon stopped his dribble. It's off of CSI and out. 2:02 remaining.
Yeah, the Dolphins have forced 24 Bearcat turnovers here tonight, Dave, and they've started to play a little bit better offensively. Sorry, Dave.
Jamil Fair has checked in for Baruch. Here comes the inbounds again to Richards, who is left open. He skips it 3-on-1 the other way, and Rigo Desteam almost picked the pocket of Richards. Nice job of getting back for Desteam.
Yeah, Dolphins continuing to hustle here, Dave. Under 2 minutes remaining.
Under 2 minutes to go. Smith up top. Dunlennon to Richards. Richards to Dunlennon to Fair. Fair in front of the fans. Drops over to Badgeromny. Badgeromny backpedals. Under 10 remaining in the shot clock. This is Richards. Richards attacks, and he is blocked down by Latunji. Baruch will continue to have control with 4 seconds on the shot clock.
Then, Baruch was very impatient late in the second half on offense. The last possession, they took it down to 9. Now they're down to 4 on the shot clock.
Looking for options is Dunlennon. He skips it inside, and there is the layup and the foul. Great job by Smith.
Yeah, and that could be the backbreaker, Dave. The Dolphins were able to cut into the lead, but Baruch able to get the big basket there, and now an opportunity to go to the free throw line and make it a 10-point game. Both teams in the double bonus.
So Smith Jr. a chance to extend back up to double digits. He makes it, and Baruch, with 98 seconds to go, have a 10-point lead. The Dolphins on their last gasp here. Let's see what they can do. Velasquez looking for some space, drops over to Kopech. Kopech, he is interfered with on his way up by Fair, and I think that might be number 4 on Fair, and it is, and it'll put Kopech to the line.
Yeah, not a good play that time by Fair as the Bearcats stopped the clock, and really that's a path for the Dolphins to get back into the game if they could score with the shot clock not running as Kopech hits the first.
So Kopech now has 7 points. He's 3 for 3 from the free throw line. He also has 8 rebounds in this game. A chance to cut the lead to 8 with 90 seconds on the nose remaining. Second free throw is no good. Long rebound, and it's won by Fair. CSI putting on some pressure. Dunlennon skips it over to Smith. Rainbowed up to Richards. Richards interfered with and fouled by Latunji. If it's on Latunji, it's his 4th. Kopech was in the neighborhood as well, and it will be on Latunji. That's foul number 4 on him. Rigo Desteam is playing with 4 fouls. Cartalis has 3, and Richards will go to the free throw line.
And Dave, you look at the stats here tonight as Richards hits the first, and as poorly as the Dolphins have played offensively all night long, prior to that free throw, they were just down 9 points. Dolphins just 10 of 20 from the free throw line here tonight. So in spite of how poorly they played offensively, if they could have just shot a little bit better from the free throw line, they could find themselves right in the game with just under 80 seconds remaining.
So Dolphins again, desperation time. They need some points. Latunji thought about a 3, instead skips inside, off the back iron, no good. They rattle around for the rebound. Kopech has his pocket picked by Richards, and the Dolphins may be out of time here. Richards gives it over to Dunlennon as we approach 1 minute to go. Dunlennon to Fair. Fair skipped off the hands, and this will go into the hands of Latunji. Latunji skips inside. He's fouled by Smith.
Sorry, Dave. So Latunji will go to the free throw line with under a minute remaining, and the Dolphins down 9 and 11. I'm sorry. And, once again, Dave, the Bearcats fouling the Dolphins and allowing them to go to the free throw line. The Dolphins have had opportunities at the line here, Dave, especially in the later stages of the second half, and just not able to hit their free throws.
Dolphins 6 of 15 from the free throw line in the second half. That's 40%. And, former assistant coach Matty White, the late, great Matty White, Mike, used to tell me that if you would have made half of what you missed and you'd have been in the game, then free throws were the difference. And the Dolphins have now missed 11 free throws. So if you would have made half of those 11, now it's a 5-point game or a 6-point game instead of an 11-point game. And those are the little things. Those are the differences that you see at times. And, Adiola Latunji, 1 of 6 from the line in this game. It's just so un-Adiola-like. And Dunlennon the other way gets fouled by Delahanty.
And as we head inside a minute remaining, Dave, Adiola with 8 points here tonight. And just looking at the stats, he will finish with over 20 points a game for the Dolphins here in the senior year. And he will finish 13th all-time in scoring, but certainly not the senior day that Adiola was looking for here tonight.
1,448 career points for Adiola Latunji. But he might be kept in the single digits here in his final 8 points. And, I know Addy will be frustrated at his performance, Mike, 3 of 19 from the floor, but there's no questioning his leadership. As Christian Kopech comes out of the game, he'll be replaced by Brian Gomez. I know Kopech put up a solid effort. He's just 2 of 8 from the floor, but 7 points, 8 rebounds for Christian.
Good game for Kopech here. Tonight for the Dolphins. Delahanty out on the floor for the Dolphins along with Latunji.
And it will be Latunji coming off the court in favor of Velasquez. Great career for Adiola Latunji. I know it's bittersweet, but what a job he did all season long, carrying this team on his back, the one true scoring threat day in and day out. That kid never quits. He's got a motor the size of a Buick, and really proved it again tonight. 3-pointer by Brian Gomez is good. That cuts the lead back down to 10, 73-63, and we got a quick whistle for the Dolphins.
Yeah, so the Dolphins will draw within 10, and they'll take the timeout, but, with Latunji over at the bench and Kopech over at the bench now, another era ending for the Dolphins, Dave, another era beginning, and that's what, really college sports is all about. And, again, Latunji on this team now for 3 years, Dave. It's almost hard to believe that it's been 3 years since he came to the team. And, I remember the first time that we got to see him, he was so explosive and, so quick off the ball and, played on that loaded CSI basketball team 3 years ago. And now to come all the way to senior day, his final game, and leaving the program 13th in scoring, David, CSI history in just 3 years.
Yeah, he'll be in the Hall of Fame sooner rather than later. That's how fast these years go. Mohammed Guy has checked in for Baruch, and he's going to get fouled. Guy this season, trying to find his stat line. He doesn't have one. Oh, yeah, he does. He's 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Baruch is going to put some more substitutions in the game. Sean Lackman will see some time. Ian Voice Potts will come into the game. Justin Cardenas will check in for the CSI Dolphins. I have a sneaky suspicion he'll come in for James Delahanty. And he will. And CSI's only 4-year senior is going to exit right as he comes out of the game. Gets a chest bump from one of CSI's smallest players, Chris Velasquez, as he came off.
So James comes to the sideline, Dave. You mentioned his brother Tom up in the stands, another CSI basketball player. So the Delahanty era of men's basketball coming to an end here tonight.
Destine with a short jumper is no good. It's collected by Guy. He's going to get fouled. He's going to go right back to the line to shoot 2. And, yeah, Mike, it's interesting. The Dolphins are going to finish 9-16 this season. And one of the things I always tell people is that, basketball, college any sport really, it's a series of ebbs and flows. You get winning seasons, losing seasons, teams rebuild and retool. And we've been so lucky and so really blessed and so just fortunate that we just never spoiled is the right word, because we never really have seasons like this. The Dolphins are going to finish 7 games under 500, but really, when do we ever see seasons like this, these rebuilding type seasons? And we've been very fortunate in that regard. The Dolphins will get Rigo Destim out. He fouled out of the game as well. But it's an aberration, seasons like this. And, sometimes you just do. Sometimes you just do for a season like this.
Yeah, it was a season that the Dolphins redshirted 2 of their better players, Christian Taylor with the injury and Jamal Martin not playing this year as well. But, like you said, Dave, you got to go back a long time since the last year the Dolphins were under 500. And, the way that head coach T.J. Tibbs will rebuild the program, we expect a lot of good things in the future beginning next year in the Dolphins' first year as a D2 school.
The last time the Dolphins finished under 500 was the 2009-2010 season. So for the first time in 10 years, the Dolphins will finish under 500. They finished with a record of 9 wins and 16 losses. For Baruch College, they finished with a record of 16 wins and 9 losses, a 4-game win streak as they approach the CUNY tournament. You see the long exchange between coaches there at midcourt, a rivalry born out of respect, great games both sides. And this one, Mike, Baruch was able to ride a huge first-half lead. They kept the door open for CSI, but when it mattered most, they shut that door late in the game. They end up winning this game by 13 points.
Yeah, Dave, the Dolphins just really could never get on track offensively. And, when they had a couple of opportunities at the end of the game, just couldn't get the big free throws, couldn't get the big turnover, couldn't hit the big three-pointer, and Baruch able to win this one by the final score of 76-63.
So it was a very successful season for all of us here at CSI Sportsnet. We want to thank everybody who's tuned in throughout the year, obviously our fans of the CSI Dolphins, even the fans of our opponents, obviously our incredible staff here at the College of Staten Island. Mike, this is our final game of the season, our final basketball game of the season, but we look across, we have, half the softball team working our clocks, Claudia Porcaro, Cece, Juliana Cretella, Christina Severito, who I mentioned, Cece, Alba Herrera, who did our book. We had Sal Trancucci doing our book for some games, Cassidy Yanarello, Anita Lorenzo is doing our camera operating tonight. You see this gentleman here to my left, Joe Masha, has been our engineer for most of the season. We've had Nick Durst on as an engineer, Ricky Keeler. Our statisticians all year long have been Joe Foreman, Samantha Flecker, and of course you, Mike, have been here throughout. You've had different partners every year, or throughout the year, but I'm so glad to have done this game with you. I think, as I mentioned, all the people behind the scenes, it just makes me really proud of our staff here at the College of Staten Island. We have a top-rate organization here, Mike. I think we look at the little things here and how well we do them. And I'm really proud of our staff. A lot of it falls under my wing and Joe Foreman's wing, and to see it all come together, to see another successful season for us, makes me very proud to do what I do. And CSI Sportsnet always makes me proud of what we do for the people at home tuning in. We've given them a great season. I'm so grateful to have done it with you.
Yeah, Dave, there's no doubt about it. And just like the basketball team and all the teams here, it's always a team effort. Sportsnet is a team effort as well. It requires assistance from a lot of different people to make everything work. And that's why, as successful as the athletic teams are, Dave, I always feel Sportsnet is just as successful.
Absolutely. And I always say, and Joe, who just joined us, can attest to it, we always think of our team as another team at the College of Staten Island. And, when Joe and I meet with our team at the beginning of the season, we say there's only one difference. There's a winning team and a losing team. Our team never can lose. We can never afford to lose. We have to always come through every single home game, and I think Joe does a spectacular job putting the staff together. And we heard from Joe during pregame when he walked the court with T.J. Tibbs for our walk with, but he joins us now. Joe, welcome to the broadcast.
Well, I appreciate the kind words. I'm sorry I couldn't be on the air more this season, but we have stats to be kept over at the scorer's table and senior day speeches to be given. So it was my privilege to do that for our 6 seniors who played their last home game today. And unfortunately for the men, the final result wasn't what they wanted. But as is the case with them every game, they play until the final horn. It was no different in today's game, and the seniors got a worthy send-off regardless of the result.
Yeah, great basketball season for us to cover. It was very enjoyable. Both teams finished with a winning record at home, Mike. So this place continues to be a real asset for both of our basketball teams. And again, it's one of those nights where you really don't want to go off the air because you know it's the finalization of the basketball season. But good things to look ahead to.
Yeah, lots of good things. We still have the spring sports coming up with softball and baseball. If you look out on the soccer field, you see the construction going on there. A lot of exciting stuff happening. We're looking forward to getting that season underway, and just so many exciting things happening, Dave. And, even this year, a great year of basketball, a great year for the women's team, finishing the regular season, winning 12 games in a row. And, the men's team, although undersized, short number of players, came out and played their butts off all year long.
All right, Joe, final thoughts on the season.
It was an entertaining season from start to finish. Didn't get it off to a great start for the men's basketball team, but they provided us with a lot of excitement here at home. You mentioned the winning record here at the Tank, and we know how important it is to TJ Tibbs to defend his home floor. And for the women, it couldn't have been a much more impressive finish to the season. 12 wins in a row. They steadily improved throughout the year, and with the men returning 2 of their key players next year, of course, losing Adeola Latunji, but Christian Taylor and Shamal Martin coming back, and the women not only returning several key players, but having recruited several more that we'll see make their debuts next year. It's going to be a very exciting 2020-2021 season. I'm looking forward to it, but a lot between now and then. Next up, tennis returns, but that, of course, isn't covered on Sportsnet. Our first broadcast of baseball softball on March 14th as a big Mets fan and a huge baseball fan. Always looking forward to that.
All right, so March 14th, straight from Joe's mouth. You know when our next broadcast is, but still a lot of programming here at CSI Sportsnet. We want to remind you, CSI Sportsnet every month, the first Monday of the month, we have the Coaches Show. Our next Coaches Show will be the first Monday of March, where Joe will sit down with our newly appointed softball coach, Eric Kraut. We have the CSI Dolphin Pod, the official athletics podcast at csidolphins.com/podcasts. We've had 15 episodes, still going strong. That's always a lot of fun. We enjoyed a great season of The Walk With here at CSI. So we're just getting started here, and spring is just around the corner. So from all of us here at the College of Staten Island, we thank you for tuning in this basketball season. Once again, the final score you see on your screen, Baruch is victorious on a night where we celebrated all of our seniors. For Joe Foreman, for Mike Babuski, for Joe Masha to my left, I'm David Pizzuto wishing you a good night.